Hey everyone, it's Eric here reporting after day 2 of the Ohio to Erie Trail. Today I completed the section just north of Akron down to Millersburg, which ended up being, checking my commute notes, recording 77.1 miles. That was an average of 10.6 miles per hour, but when you consider that that is only the average speed when I was actually moving, which was 7 hours and 16 minutes, you can also look at that as 10 hours and 33 minutes elapsed that from me starting my ride to arriving here in Millersburg. It was much before dark. I just did a bunch of our stuff before recording this video, and I'm about ready to go to bed after finishing this up. So if you look at it as 10 hours, 33 minutes, that's 7.3 miles per hour. Still not bad. I mean, that was probably the longest ride of my life. Um, it's the longest ride of this trip. I think I looked at the last day, and it's going to be 72, I think. Hopefully easier than today. Today was a lot of off trail in Wayne County, and that was challenging. It wasn't too bad. It was kind of monotonous, but still pretty, and not much traffic. So those kind of concerns you usually have with road riding. It wasn't too bad. People around there are used to going around Amish buggies. I'm a little smaller than a buggy, so I was a little worried about my visibility, but I do have a very bright green helmet. I think that really stood out. So I have the map here to remind me where I went today, keep me on track, and I wrote down a couple notes, so hopefully I won't jump around too much here. I finished up this segment of the map. This is the Northern Ohio, Cleveland to Killbuck map, and that, like I said, got me from Akron down to Millersburg. So I passed through places like Canal Fulton, Massillon, Dalton, not Dalton. I used to live in Massillon and worked in Worcester, so I learned it's Dalton. I've never seen anyone else pronounce it correctly on any Ohio to Erie Trail video. So there you go, Dalton. Impress the Daltonese people when you were there. Went into Apple Creek, and then Millersburg. So some kind of big gaps between, and I want to just kind of share a few tips to help you as you go between those places for services. And a couple places where I want to just point out other things on the trail. So I started north of Akron. The first place I did make a wrong turn actually was just outside of downtown. You see the skyline to your left, and the trail is actually wider and looks more like the obvious main path, and it goes up a hill. And I did that for a little bit, and I went, I better check my map and just figure out that, make sure that I'm staying on the towpath. No, I wasn't on the towpath. When you see a bridge over the inner belt, if you're familiar with Akron, that is the small expressway that is on the west side of downtown. You want to go over that bridge, and that will get you onto some sidewalk paths that go through Akron, kind of by Cascade Parking Garage, Canal Park, behind Canal Park, Canal Place, the old YMCA building, and then you'll be following the canal. So that part is all signed really well. The only part I would say watch out for is that section right by the inner belt. So yeah, in Akron, it was very nice. It's very pretty over there. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Reston, Virginia, but maybe not as nice and clean, but kind of the same idea. I like that a lot. And then the Summit Metro Parks. They are Metro Parks serving Summit County officially. They maintain that trail segment. Well, I guess north of Akron and south of Akron within Summit County, and it looks great. A lot of bathrooms along the way. Some actually flush. Some are just like those permanent composting toilets, but all very clean, very nice. Very nice to have that. When you get into Stark County, there is some fresh gravel. I think that's where I saw it, and I can't remember between which roads, but it's packed down really well. There's a few couple places that are a little soupy, I would say. If you see any signs that say trail is closed, that must be outdated. I had somebody kind of shout to me as I passed him. He was going northbound, and he said, "Is the trail really closed?" And I was kind of surprised to hear that because I didn't see any closure signs. And I said, "Well, I didn't run anything." So he proceeded along. That seems to happen a lot with bike trails, where they'll say that maintenance is happening and they don't remember where they put the signs, and nobody goes and picks them up. Massillon, though, does still have a closure along the levee, along the Tusk River. I guess I'm using abbreviations from me living there, the Tuscarawas. And I exited Lake Avenue to go to that Dollar General, which Dollar Generals, I'm already getting tired of going to them. I realize why I don't typically shop at them in my daily life. And I stopped at Chipotle and got a very generous sized burrito from the Chipotle there. I feel honestly just gross all the food that I'm eating on this trip, but I know that you have to keep eating and drinking as many all these Gatorades and all this stuff just to keep you going. I've been drinking the Gatorade Zeros. That's nice, but you just feel gross all this eating you're doing. But then you look at your Fitbit and see how many calories you're burning and go, okay, well, I mean, I guess I can get away with it. But anyway, Sippo Valley Trail is the next segment after the towpath, and the maps from 2022, which they say is still current, it says use caution. Let's see what that says. Well, anyway, it just says please use caution when riding on the Sippo Valley Trail. There may be sections of the trail surface has eroded or filled with gravel or sand. I thought it was great. I mean, no problems on that segment at all. Don't worry about that. Then you get into Dalton, like I said, not Dalton, and that is a good chance for you to resupply, bathroom break, get some water. I already had plenty of stuff in my bag from going to Dollar General Massillon, but there is a little park between Old 30 and New 30. And if you're not familiar with that area, Old 30 would be the little Main Street area, that obvious Main Street. It's got the old Village Hall and a hardware store and everything. And then there's a segment where you turn off that and then go straight into a 4-lane divided highway. There's a park right there. Drinking fountain is powerful, works. I filled up my bottles, did the drink as much as you can before you leave. And there was a porta potty there too. Definitely stop. There's also a Bell Stores, which is their local convenience store there. And the Dalton, oh, see, I did it there. The Dalton Dairyette, if you want to stop for ice cream, I think is what they do. Then you're on to roads for a long time. And you're kind of, everybody, isn't much traffic there, right? But the people that do see you, they're used to seeing people bike through that area, which is nice. You'll get a lot of waves from both the Amish and English alike, and it's kind of a fun feeling actually. You go through a place like the national park where it's very dense, and then you get into or densely populated with people on the trail, and then you get to Wayne County where there's hardly any traffic, cars, or bikes at all. I saw more buggies than I think I saw cars sometimes. And people actually wave at you. I know you're in a small town. It's kind of a fun feeling if you're from a city. Okay, so then when I got to Apple Creek, that was your next opportunity for services. And there's a park right after you arrive at the village limits or whatever they are. And there's a porta potty there. There's a picnic pavilion that's very nice. I stopped and ate some food there and even plugged in my cell phone. The power outlets at that pavilion. There's electricity everywhere in that park. They must have had services donated by an electrician or something, because there are outlets all over the place. They must really party in Apple Creek. But I was able to charge my cell phone there for a little bit while I was eating. And then let's see, what was after Apple Creek? Not much. I mean, I didn't really need more services to stay at. I was getting pretty tired by that point, so I was just trudging along. The Holmes County Trail is very nice. That's the one that is shared with the buggies, and it's very wide, very pretty. You're going through cornfields. Really no concerns down there. It's amazing how many e-bikes. I had heard before that there are a lot of Amish people that use e-bikes, but same with the other people in town. They're just e-bikes all over the place. And I really, since the last time I bike toured, if you watch the first video, it was nine years ago, there weren't as many e-bikes back then. And nowadays you see quite a few. So anytime I was actually passed by anyone who was on an e-bike, which I'm used to people that are just, much more serious bicyclists than me passing me, but this hasn't happened on this trip so far, which I'm really surprised about. And then one more thing I wanted to mention, I was corrected from the last video that I am a cyclist, not a biker. Bikers are on Harleys and cyclists are on bikes. I have never made that distinction myself. Maybe I should. I will try to continue doing that. I can't promise anything. So yeah, I'm pretty tired. Tomorrow is going to be, I think, 50 miles, so much easier. I am glad that I am here at the Holiday Inn in Millersburg. This is a much needed pampering after that time. And so We'll get a shower. We'll get breakfast in the morning. There's an IGA just up the hill that's very good, and got some groceries. I went to Dairy Queen. I ate a Cupfection brownie Oreo thing that I think is going to make me feel a little sick because I've eaten a lot of chocolate today between all the Nature Valley bars and a Take Five bar. It's not feeling chocolate, so I should do it. I should probably hold off on that tomorrow. So anyway, as usual, enjoy a few clips. I took at least twice as many as I did yesterday. Logically, having this having been a 77-mile journey versus 37. So enjoy. Rolling into downtown Akron. This is just after making a wrong turn, going up a hill for, well, a short distance before I realized that I was going the wrong way. But just another location where the signage is lacking a little bit. There we go, there's a sign. Brand new limestone. Whoa.